Good morning, everybody. My name is Duarte Villar. I'm from Lusiada University. That is the place where the Congress is and where you are now. Lusiada University is a private university held by Fundação Minerva, a non-profit organization, and we are here in Porto and a small city near Porto, Famalicão. So we are a university with different grades and postgrades in architecture, law, economic sciences, psychology, and social work, where I come from. So CLISIS is a research center, and it was CLISIS that cooperated with the organization, so we are a research unit of Universidade Lusiada. I want to thank you very much to my colleagues of this opening session. I want to introduce you Filipa Roseta. She's from the municipality. She's one of the elected of the Lisbon municipality, and is on charge of housing, and which is a very serious and difficult job here in the city of Lisbon. I also want to introduce Eduardo Marques, my colleague from CLISIS. He came from 2,000 kilometers because he lives in Azores, so in the middle of Portugal and the States. And he's also belonging to CLISIS, because CLISIS is not only from Lusiada University. We have about 15 other organizations that have research members in CLISIS. I, of course, want to introduce the founder of Common Grounds, William Cope, as well José Luis Martín, that is the scientific director of Common Grounds, Carmen and M.Ángeles, that are also from the direction of Common Grounds, and Eugenia, Arvanitis, also from Common Ground and from Patras University from Greece, Carmen and M.Ángeles from Madrid. So we have a very nice representation of European and non-European academics here in our opening session. Just to say that CLISIS means the Research Center of Social Work and Social Intervention. So we are the research center, the Lusiada Research Center on social work and social intervention. And so we are on social issues, we are on social work, we are in social intervention methods, actors, we are on social. And we are, of course, also in social policies. So, that's why we agreed to co-organize this Congress in Lisbon, because it's really in one of the issues that CLISIS work and is concerned, of course, the impact, the social impact of climate changes and in societies and communities. Portugal was seriously hit in 2017 with the fires. More than 100 people died in the fires in the center part of Portugal, and we had floods, well, and so, of course, we are concerned about the climate change and the social impact because, of course, these have social impacts in communities. So that's it. Be welcome to Lusiada University. Be welcome to Lisbon, a wonderful city. Be welcome to Portugal, and have a great Congress.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. You are very welcome to our university, to our research center. As Duarte says, my name is Eduardo. I'm a researcher at CLISIS, but I'm also a social work lecturer at the University of Azores. So just to welcome you, to say that we hope for these days, the next days, we can create a learning community. I think people is the center of our work, and the idea is that during these days we can share ideas, we can share research, we can share other futures. So I hope that we can use also this time for networking, to think together in research projects or in other kind of projects that can be a very good output that can result from this meeting. So the idea is, let's do a learning community all together during these days. Let's get inspired to stay on the way to struggle for a better world with environmental justice included. And we hope that everybody get a good time here, get inspired, and in the end we can still working in new ideas, working in new solutions that can be research projects, that can be strength links, and do some projects together. Thank you. You are welcome to listen.
It's Bill. Sorry.
Maybe you have to press.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's okay now.
I'm also running around taking photographs. So, yeah, my name is Bill Cope, and welcome. It's very good to have people here at this conference. And actually, there's people attending from 42 conferences. I've got 42 countries. I'm sorry. I've got a long list here, which I won't read out. So it's an incredibly diverse group. I thought I'd say a little bit about Common Ground and about the ideas behind these conferences. And in fact, it's two conferences. In fact, it's three conferences if you look at the little QR codes on the back. One's Spanish language, and the other two are in English. I think that's the way the three QR codes go, which kind of overlap. And that what we've done with Common Ground is try to build conferences which address key cross-cutting issues of our time. Diversity is big. It's a big issue, and how it's defined and the way in which we build societies which more or less cohere with diversity is a big question. The issue of the environment and climate is obviously a really pressing issue as well. And the issue of organizations. In other words, what we do is we live in education communities, we live in businesses, we live in all sorts of community environments where these issues of environment and diversity impinge. So we're trying to take this cross-cutting approach to these big picture questions of our time. And what we found was the organisation conference and the diversity conference kind of overlapped in a number of ways. So we decided to bring them together in those ways. And also what I want to do is I want to acknowledge the fact that we have our Spanish language strand as well, which we have with us in all these conferences. So this is the 20-something time we run these conferences. There's been building up over a number of years. Mary Calancis and I were founders of these conferences half a lifetime ago. What we try to do is build intellectual community. So a lot of you people who've come are also presenting. Not everybody's presenting, so we want you to bring to the table the work that you're doing, the ideas that you have, and we want you to share those with other people. So the plenary speeches are a small part of the conference in relation to the whole program, but also what we want to do is we want to build formal bodies of knowledge, and we've been doing that over the years. In fact, each of these journals now has several thousand journal articles, all of which you have access to, and books as well, I might say, where each of these research networks has built, as a group of peers, a formal body of knowledge which is recognised through the peer review process and formal things like digital object identifiers. So it's in the real world of journals. So one of the things that happens with conferences too often is they're ephemeral. You know, you go home and all you've got is a couple of business cards in your pocket. But what we want to do is this is an ongoing set of relationships where you are each going to be reviewing each other's work and building a formal body of knowledge that comes out of that. But one thing I want to say as well is use that body of knowledge. Over the years, we've built up quite a remarkable repertoire of papers, too many to deal with, so use the advanced search in the bookstore to find something which is closely related to your interests. So use that body of knowledge, and one of the things we do in academe is we honour each other's work by citing it. Use it, cite it. But the other thing I'm going to ask you at this conference to do the opposite thing, which is go to unlikely sessions, and you might find there are interesting crossovers there as well. Now, just to give you a sense of the scale of it, I actually have some numbers here, and that is that we have about 200 people here in person at the university, and thank you very much to our hosts for being so generous and bringing us to this beautiful campus here. Walk out into the garden and you'll see how really beautiful it is. And we have also an online presence as well, where we have about 50 people who are participating online as well. So one thing, thank you very much for those people who have uploaded digital media as well as the journal. We also encourage you to put up your PowerPoint or a video, even better, you know, record it in Zoom. So that then becomes a lasting record of your presentation, but also it means that the online people can have access to that. And one of the advantages, by the way, we've been building this Common Ground Scholar website over a number of years. Sorry if it's a bit slow. We're in the process of rebuilding it at the moment. We never expected to have this many accounts and this many users. But one of the things we suggest is you're in the regular sessions and there isn't a lot of time for discussion at the end. There's a bit of time, but not everything can be said. Even while you're in the session, go into that page and type in comments. And that means, and that, by the way, will trigger an email to the speakers and the other participants as well. So yeah, that's kind of an asynchronous space to keep the conversation going during and beyond the session. So I think there's some of the main practical things about the conference, you know, what our philosophy is, why we do it this way, and the format. So thank you very much for being here. I don't know whether Mary wants to say something. I think, have I said everything that needs to be said?
One question.
One question. There's a microphone. There's always something that I've left out, and Mary will always pick me up for it.
All right. No, one of the important things was that traditional conferences are gated communities and very narrow, and we wanted international relationships. That's what we wanted, and then to create ways of working together that created communities, that made you talk to each other, that, you know, with the different strategies that we have. I mean, the problems of the world continue to be difficult, and we can't solve them independently. And we need to collaborate across our different locations, across our different identities, and across our different countries. So that is key to what we're doing. We bring you together. We hope you get to know each other. I know many of you have been to others before. I met somebody here who went to one of the, I think, right back there, who went one to our earlier ones. And, you know, we've been doing this now, not Bill and I anymore, but for over 30 years. But the vision is being continued by the people who run these conferences. We only ever do it in partnerships with scholars and academics. It's not in a big hotel. It's not about, you know, kind of just coming and going. It's about really generating ideas and grounding us in the local realities. And that's what I hope will happen here too. So welcome to all of you. We don't often come anymore to these conferences because, you know, Philip and the others manage them, but this one is dear to our hearts because was a very important one. So welcome to all of you, and I hope I get to know some more of you.
And by the way, you can probably tell from our accents that we work in the United States, with the University of Illinois. Yeah?
We're American now.
But when we began this, we were in Australia,
yes,
so
we're Australians, but we don't listen to the news anymore for our sanity.
So anyhow, now I'd like to introduce our dear colleague, Jose Luis Ortega Martin, who's been working with us now for half a lifetime, or a third of a lifetime, a long time anyhow, Jose Luis.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Bueno, pues muchas gracias. I will do this in Spanish. Yo llevo la parte de español de Common Ground. Agradecer, por supuesto, a la presidencia de la universidad de Lusiada, al colega Duarte, Villar, y a todos los que estamos aquí hoy, en particular a la concejala del ayuntamiento, a Filipa, a Roseta. Y bueno, ya saben que hay dos congresos, simplemente pues que sepa que tenemos esta parte que hacemos en español y que está dedicada sobre todo pues para aquellos que desean hacer un debate y que pueden hacerlo en su lengua materna de una manera más cómoda o más fluida que hacerlo en inglés, y que no sea un problema poder participar y debatir en un congreso. Con esa idea arrancamos y nacimos en esta parte de español, en Common Ground, y así, bueno, pues llevamos un tiempo ya trabajando. Llevo con ellos pues 20 años trabajando. Tenemos plenarias muy interesantes, tienen el programa en español, lo tienen en uno de los códigos QR, y en inglés, y el otro que tienen aquí debajo es del otro congreso que, como decía Bill, se solapa con el nuestro, ¿no? Con el de diversidad. Agradecíamos, como decía, pues toda la parte de organización. Hay alguna serie de eventos. Por ejemplo, tenemos el miércoles hoy, tenemos un tour por la ciudad que está totalmente lleno, ya lo tenemos lleno. También mañana tenemos la cena del Congreso, que también está totalmente reservada. Y hay una actividad muy interesante, que es un case study, un estudio de casos, que se hace, será el viernes, ¿vale? Y será de 9:15 a 1:30, el día 5 de julio, ¿vale? Y bueno, es muy interesante porque se saldrá desde el hotel que hay de referencia en el Congreso, y durará durante 4 horas. Hablaba también Bill de los números, mucha gente, en total tenemos presenciales 269 entre los dos congresos, en diversidad un poco menos, o sea, son 290, o sea, 190 aproximadamente, y luego también que participen online, pues un total de 77 personas. Simplemente termino ya con esto, los agradecimientos de nuevo, y a dos personas muy en concreto, Alba y a Tamara, que están en la recepción, y a todos los Emerging Scholars que van a ayudarnos durante estos días a, bueno, pues hacer de estos 3 días de congreso pues una experiencia inolvidable. Muchísimas gracias, y para cualquier cosa, anything, it doesn't matter if it is in English or Spanish, especially if it is in Spanish, I will be here. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, I think we can go now. We can move now to Filipa. Yeah, because of time.
So hello everyone. I am from the City Council, so I'm responsible for housing. I'm very happy to be here, and I'm very happy that you're in this magnificent city, and I'm going to share with you why. Because diversity is actually my strongest tool against my most horrible enemy. And who is my most horrible enemy? It's the growing poverty. And why do we have growing poverty in Lisbon? Because rents are rising higher than salaries. And we have the very big danger and the very big risk of having the middle class falling into poverty. So not only are we fighting to get people out of poverty, we are fighting to keep the middle class out of poverty. And this is our biggest challenge, and this is why it's so difficult, like the professor here was saying before me. So why is diversity my strongest tool, you ask? Because we have a very beautiful structure that was not invented by me, so I can always say it's very beautiful, of co-governance that we have in our social neighborhoods. And how does this work? It's quite new, it's quite innovative in terms of co-governance, and that's why I want to share with you in 1 minute, if you allow me. We take all our decisions in the neighborhoods on a meeting with all participant people from the neighborhood sitting in the meeting with us. So I'm the councillor, I take my decisions, and next to me is the representative of the population of the neighborhoods, the president of the neighborhoods association. Next to them, it's the social, all the social associations that belong to the neighborhood. So we have always about 10 people, sometimes the police, sometimes health entities, sometimes ONGs. So we are sitting together, taking decisions together. And what I can share with you, why is this so important? Because most of our decisions are based on very specific topics. They're not ideological, they're very specific topics. And I've been doing this for 3 years now, and all of our decisions have been taken by unanimously. Because when we sit together and we discuss specific topics that really affect the lives of people, there is kind of a human intelligence that brings us all together, and we are able to take decisions unanimously. And this is very important, because if we take decisions unanimously, we're not going to move back. So, and that's why diversity is so important. We need to be sitting on the same table with people with different perspectives, coming from different directions, from the neighbors, from the socials, from the construction, and then together we take the decisions together, discuss them and take the decisions together. I love these structures. This is really where my strongholds to really fight poverty, and I'm just going to keep on growing more of these structures. And I do hope you love Lisbon and you keep this idea of diversity alive. It is our strongest tool to fight poverty, and poverty, make no mistake, is our biggest enemy.
Well, be welcome, and we will start for the first conference, okay? I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. Yeah, of course you can, yeah.
But hello, my name is Eugenia Arvanitis. I'm coming from the University of Patras, Greece, and I would vote for this lady, for sure. I think we need to give another round of applause because...
Can you repeat that?
I would vote for this lady because it's very important to forge strong alliances and strong practices within our communities. And I think this type of leadership is needed. And the kind of leadership we've seen on behalf of Mary and Bill as well. 30 plus years, they've started with a vision, and they were inclusive in this vision. They open up their arms for all of us to give us opportunities to interconnect, discuss, and be able for action in order to transform and bring a change into this world and our practices and our lives. And we're very privileged to be among these colleagues that give us the strength to continue our dealings and our lives, and of course our professional practices. The important thing for me to be here is that I feel like my home. Diversity conferences are very important to my professional life and myself, because it gives me the oxygen and the life space to sit, discuss, meet people, and get all these ideas back home, and create some new possibilities for myself, for my students, and for my country. And I'm very privileged to be in Portugal, because in Greece we use many times the model of Portugal in terms of combating poverty and the housing issues. So I will discuss some ideas with your councillor here, and hopefully we could invite you to come to Greece and Athens in order to discuss some common ideas and common practices to tackle these issues. I'm not the mayor of Athens, but hopefully we could actually do something on that. But finally, we're all privileged to be here because of 3 pillars. These diversity conferences, to my understanding, offer the community support and the Thinking Together Act we're all together in a collaborative sort of intelligence, building this collaborative intelligence, as Mary and Bill have stated in theory. So we're thinking together, and we try to construct or to build this inclusive mindfulness. And this is important and difficult. And the other pillar is the actual dialogue, reflexive dialogue. Dialogue that we reflect on our practices all together, and in order to have a meaningful practice, common practice at the end. And this is the third pillar. The common practice and the transformation that we need to bring in our lives, in our societies. And of course, combating disparities and poverty and all these issues. So welcome all to this conference, and I'm looking forward to have fruitful discussions. And thank you very much for the organization and the host university. And of course, we'll be happy to see you next year, 2025, but in Cyprus. But now let's have the discussions begin, and I'm looking forward to see you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Eugenia.
Thank you. Okay, let's go.